Welcome back, everybody, to the Fighting for Freedom podcast. I just want to say thank you to everybody for all your love and support. You guys have helped this channel grow dramatically. If you could please, at this time, drop us a like, comment, subscribe, share our podcast, turn on those bell notifications, and leave us a rating and good review. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Fighting for freedom, one podcast at a time.
Hello, how are we doing today? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode on the Fighting for Freedom podcast. Today I have someone who lives out of an RV and has traveled all over the world for the past 7 years. Michele, how you doing today, Michele?
Great, Benny. I'm so honored to be here with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. When I kind of seen your story, like I kind of found you through social media. I seen your story, I seen what you were doing, and I seen what you're going after, and I was like, this is someone that I would absolutely love to have on my podcast. So thank you so much for your time. I know you probably have a busy schedule, so thank you so much, Michele.
You're very welcome. I'm the mom of a Marine and a Navy guy, and married to a Navy guy, by the way.
Wow, so keeping the military in the family. Okay, so Michele, let's jump back a little bit. Who are you? Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
So I'm from Rochester, New York.
Oh,
And-
we're like neighbors.
Oh, I live in Georgia now, but I'm from Rochester.
Okay.
So I consider it my hometown.
Okay. And in Rochester, right? Was that like a big like military community? Is that kind of what sparked the interest, or how did you end up where you are today?
No, actually, there's no base there, and I'm a real estate broker. And when I started all this, I was the CEO to Heroes Home Advantage. So if you went to buy a house, I have realtors that will give you 25% of their commission to thank you for your services.
Oh, wow.
So I was using that program, and I went over to the Navy Reserves there, and I used to bring them lunches and thank everybody over there. Yeah, I actually rode my Harley with 18 submarine sandwiches to the Reserve Center over there to thank them for their services.
Oh, that's good. You said submarine sandwiches. Is that really what they're called? Is that the short for sub?
Subs.
I had no clue. Wow, you learn something new every day. I just thought they were called subs. I had no clue.
Submarine sandwiches. I don't know. I've heard that many years ago, but yeah,
Makes sense.
well, it actually started at the Navy Reserve Center there, and I started just bringing food to our firefighters and our police officers and our veterans and military, and just letting them know that we're there if they wanted to buy sell a house, and we want to thank you for your sacrifices. And it just like snowballed from there.
Yeah. So how did you end up from being a real estate broker to where you are today?
So I moved to Georgia, just my dog and I had I was here about 6 months. I knew nobody, but I found a way to work my company remotely, and I ended up watching a woman who got an RV and started traveling the country, and she was able to figure out how to run her company right out of the RV. And at first I thought she was absolutely crazy. And so I got a 24-foot RV, and I took an 8,000-mile tour around the country. And what I was doing was I stopped at the Navy Reserve Center and police departments and fire departments, and anybody I could get in front of. There is a screen in front of me. Do you see it? Hold on.
Nope.
Ring Central just showed up. Okay, here we go.
You're good.
So my oldest is a Iraqi war combat veteran, and I started to see he wasn't the same kid. At the same time, my youngest left college and joined the Navy, and he was in nuclear power training. And so I decided I wanted to do more than just real estate. rebates.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started meeting a lot of active duty military and veterans, and they started sharing their stories of combat and injuries, and I found out what post-traumatic stress was, I decided to start a nonprofit and meet our heroes around the country and interview them. So I just started interviewing veterans all over the country. I was looking for resources for PTS. So I went to like the Wounded Warrior Project in Jacksonville, Florida. I went to Warrior's Heart in Texas. And when a veteran reached out to me and said, "Hey, I really am struggling," I actually drove from Georgia, one of my RVs from Georgia all the way to Texas just to help a family. And my love and passion for our military and our veterans and our first responders really started to deepen. So I started a nonprofit. I named it National Veteran Resources.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole mission and ministry in life is to save the lives of our heroes. And about 3 years ago, so I was doing all this myself in huge RVs. I wrapped them in the American flag, and I met my husband, Randy, who lived in Rochester at the time, and I happened to be traveling to Rochester on this big tour. So we met, we got married. He has joined me. So he's been on the road with me for 3 years.
Oh, that's nice.
And he's an incredible help to me because I just couldn't do this alone. But
Mm-hmm.
about right around the time he joined me, I was interviewing a veteran, a Navy veteran actually, and he said there's a mama here that just lost her son to suicide and
Mm-hmm.
she'd like to meet you. And I said, holy cow, I don't know what I would say or what I would do, but I had her get in the RV and we chatted for a long time, and I did a video. She didn't want to get on video, but I did a video about her story. And the next day I was heading to, that was in Crossville, Tennessee, I was heading to Louisville, and I was staying at American Legion and VFW parking lots and
Mm-hmm.
Walmarts and truck stops all over the place. And so I had this, I got a call that there's a mom in Louisville, and I was on my way to a VFW there. And so she met me in the RV and she shared her story. She lost her son, Stefan, while he was in Iraq. And she got on video with me. So after about meeting the fifth mother, I decided to start a small Facebook group for the moms because I didn't really know what to say to them, or I loved on them and I would pray over them, but I
Mm-hmm.
really wanted the moms to meet. So fast forward to today, I have 183 mothers of veteran suicide. They're military and veteran suicide in my group. It's huge. And so Randy and I have been traveling the country. We're slowing down a little bit. It's been 7 years I've been on the road.
Yeah.
But we're in Florida a lot because we live right on the border of Florida and Georgia. And so I actually just in the last 6 months renamed my nonprofit to Mothers of Veteran Suicide because I have all the resources outside of the VA to give to our veterans. But these families left behind, there's a few large organizations that help, but there's not a lot of like support and comfort. And so I started having retreats for the moms. So
Oh,
right
that's
now,
nice.
oh my gosh, right now I'm planning a retreat in Florida for 30 mothers want to come. And we help the fathers. Sadly, if you're following me, I just started this TikTok channel because I do all my own social media and it's pretty overwhelming, but
It is.
you'll see how I share the kids, their children. Every Thursday, I ask the moms to post a photo of their child and say their name and share a memory. So you'll see that I make these TikTok videos. I want to always remember their children. And we started a Fathers of Veteran Suicide Facebook group. But I have 30 moms wanting to come to a retreat in May. We have two moms that have lost 3 children to suicide.
Wow.
And the message is one of the moms lost twins, Brandon and Bradley, within 2 months. They were veterans. They were not active duty. And then 6 months later, her daughter took her life. So I'm really worried about the siblings. We also have families raising their small grandchildren because either their mommy has passed away or their mommy is unfit. So we're trying to help the families left behind. We're the smallest of small nonprofits. It's just
Mm-hmm.
Randy and I have a small board. So we have had the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association has just made a donation, and we have the American Legion Riders in Florida, especially post 69, Project Vet Relief. So we are getting some support out there. We've had the Journey Home Project, the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project. So people are paying attention to what we're doing, and it
Good.
feels amazing because when I switched from focusing 1,000% on veterans and military, which will always help no matter anything that we
Mm-hmm.
can do. But when I switched to the families of veteran suicide, like everything just kind of dropped
Yeah.
because there's so many of the organizations out there helping, you know, military and veterans and first responders, which I'm all about. But these
Mm-hmm.
poor families left behind, the mothers, we have mothers that found, like, can I just get this message out there?
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
what it does to the family members. I've talked to many, many suicidal active duty military, reserve, National Guard, and veterans. And I don't have anything that I can do to fix the issues, but I can tell you the detriment left behind by
Mm-hmm.
these family members. Um, the mothers are just, we actually lost a mother to suicide in the last 8 months. We just lost another mother that the mothers get broken heart syndrome.
Yeah.
I want to ask every hero out there that's protecting and serving us to not only seek help and ask for help, but to lean on those that they really can trust and that really care for them. And if they go to the VA, for example, a lot of these young men and women that have taken their lives were given an appointment months later. And I want you to tell them you need it now. And if you can't get it, we have all kinds of resources, but there's just on TikTok alone, what is it, vets for TikTok or TikTok
Yeah,
vets?
there's literally social media for literally anything. It's like one of the reasons why I started doing this podcast is so I can have guests like you, Michelle, and other people with, maybe different stories but similar experiences to other people listening, just to know like, hey, like you are never alone, right? Like you left your family to serve our country, and I hope that you can find a new family in the military to know that, hey, if you get that phone call and they're like, hey, you have an appointment in 3 months. Well, 3 months is not when, things are going to be as bad as they are right now. So if you do get that phone call, take it with a grain of salt and reach out to somebody that's close to you. Even utilize your family. You left your family to go serve our country, but you never actually left your family. One of the hardest things for me was, going to my mother when I signed my enlistment contract, and I was like, I'm joining the Navy. And she was like, no, you're not. And I was like, yeah, I am. I signed the piece of paper, and she, an Italian mother, single mother from New York, threw me on the floor and like, lovingly like beat me up a little bit. And then she just kind of like, got all emotional, and she was like, my only child is going to go to the military. And the initial thought is, military, right? Like combat zones and all that bad stuff, which thankfully, knock on wood, I didn't have to see any of that. But just the pure aspect of that's what they're thinking doesn't really leave like a good taste in their mouth. Telling the rest of your family like, hey, I'm going to go to the military, they all have the same thing. But as long as you can communicate that with them and stay close to home and keep in contact, that'll definitely make things a lot easier down the road. I think so. That's just like my 2 cents from my experience being active duty. Being active duty is not easy at all. For someone to tell you you're gonna go live in this state or this country for X amount of years, you're like, what? You know what I mean? But that's part of the job. It's kind of what you got to do. And I have all these pictures around me and all these memorabilia around me from like every place in the world I've been. This picture right here is one of my good families from Palawan in the Philippines. And it was one of those deployments where, it was right before COVID, and I was just going through like a really dark time because I was away from my family. I was thinking about my grandmother passed away, and I just needed that one day to myself, right? So I remember it was late at night, and I just went on the beach, and I let it out, Michelle. I just started crying, bawling, crying, and I was just like, I needed that. And then I got up, wiped my face. I went back to all my friends, and they seen it in my eyes. They were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I am now." And they were like, "What happened?" And I was like, "You know what? Sometimes I just needed to let it out. And if I did ever need help, no, I would ask and I would tell you about it. But the biggest thing for a man is just to let it out sometimes. Don't bottle things up, because that's only going to make things worse, not only for you, but for the people who love you." It's a great message, Michelle. Really, I really I love what you're doing. I think it's phenomenal.
Well, I can tell you, my oldest told me he was going into the Army and he was only 17, and I was going to have to sign for him. I'm like, heck no.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, I have a Marine knocking on my door. He's like, your son, they pulled him out of class and told him the Marines are the best. And he came home with stars in his eyes. And when they came to get him, I had to sign for him. I literally like threw myself on the recruiter's car as they were taking him away.
Yep.
And then he went off to war shortly after. And he's my why. That kid right there, both my kids are my why. But let me tell you guys something. You said I could share.
Of
I want to
course.
tell you what I hear every day. There's losing a child. You guys listen to me, because these moms, dads, children, siblings, the immediate family that I talk to, and the friends are truly beyond devastated. I have mothers that have had to cut their children down because they hung themselves. I have a mom who son was missing for 5 weeks, and she found him floating in the river. And I have moms that found their children with gunshot wounds to the head. And can you imagine what that does to anybody that finds that? But these moms, this is why I have turned my whole ministry around, because my mission in life is to tell you guys to just do exactly what you said. Don't hold it in, especially you guys, you hold it in and you think you're a burden on your family and your loved ones, and you're not. You don't realize the devastation left behind, and it's so important to seek help. And I can take you out and show you my RV right now, Vinny. I have 180 names in butterflies on my RV of children that are lost. These are veteran and active duty, half active duty, Vinny.
Yeah.
They have died by suicide, and their mothers are in my group.
That's it's kind of the hardest pill to swallow, knowing that it's happening like day to day. People are going through things, and you really just don't know until it's too late. Michelle, if anybody listening right now is going through the dark times, what would you say is the first resource for them to do?
Well, I would say the VA, and the vet centers. The vet centers are incredible, you guys. They are VA employees, but they're completely separate from the VA. And so many of my military and veterans, I think it's for active duty, right? I have peer-to-peer support. I have veterans all over the country that will talk to any active duty, reserve, National Guard veteran. I have a whole team of them if you just need a veteran to talk to. And I have other resources, but my husband has had great experience through the VA, but a lot of these moms share with me their kids didn't. And but use every resource, reach out to your friends, and the families need to know the warning signs, especially the active duty. Families don't these moms tell me they never saw any signs, but then after they had a suicide in their family, they learned what they were, and they're like, why didn't I see that? Or I saw that, but I didn't know it was a sign. So people need to educate themselves if you have active duty loved ones and veteran and first responder loved ones.
Michele, what are the first signs?
So I'm going to share what the moms tell me they
Okay.
saw. So saying my family's better off without me, giving their things away. I always ask the moms, what was the last, like, what did you notice the last 6 months? Because a lot of you guys were either deployed, you're either deployed somewhere, or they live in another state. So the mamas aren't seeing them every day. And some did.
Mm-hmm.
Just severe depression, more than normal, anxiety, anger, alcoholism, just behavior that they wouldn't normally experience.
Okay.
So those are the top I'm just telling you what the moms have told me and what I know
Yeah.
with veterans. I mean, you saw me, I've met thousands of active duty and veterans in my 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and you military experience way more than I ever knew until I started talking to active duty.
Yeah. Active duty is they're a different breed. They're definitely a different breed. There's some of the best people I met. But sadly, suicide is I hate to say this, but it's always going to be something that people have to worry about, right? Like everyone, it happens from people that you least expect it from personal experiences, right? It's just like one day you're like, oh, like, just it's another day, and then the next day you find out some horrible news, and you're like, that doesn't make sense. Like sometimes there are no warning signs. Maybe I don't know, maybe just a bad day, and it just happens. It's it's definitely something that I hope that with me and my platform and you and your platform, us coming together and down the road, any potential guest I ever have and anybody you ever meet, you know, I started this for the mental health aspect, but also for like the tips and tricks for people and their experiences. Like I always tell people, hey, like I would love to have you on as a guest, and I'm never gonna ask you like your crazy war stories, right? I don't want to know what you've done. That's your business. If you want to share it, be my guest. But what I care about is the resources you've used, like Military One Source, using the
Mhm.
VA, using the VA home loan, using your TSP, the basics. Hey, like I've been drinking a lot. It's probably not an issue, but before it gets to an issue, this is what I did. And the guy is a 6'7", 350-pound, completely yoked out guy, and it's like, okay, well, this guy's a man and he got help, so hopefully I can get help too. Kind of like the idea of like where I'm going with this. Michele, I am very curious though. You've been on the road for 7 years. Where have you been that kind of set a milestone for you in that 7 years?
Probably the very first trip I took really literally was an 8,000-mile trip. So I left here, and mind you, I'm in an RV, so I have to empty my septic tanks. I
Yep.
have to fill my tanks. I sleep in I was sleeping in Walmart parking lots because I was doing a city to city, state to state tour.
Hmm.
So I left Georgia and I went all the way up to Idaho, all the way through California, and I got all the way up to Connecticut and back to Rochester. That whole tour took me about 2 months on the road, and that was probably epic. And we just sold the biggest one we've had was a fifth wheel. We just sold that, and let me just show you the interior real quick.
Yeah,
Right
of
now,
course.
this is how I meet and greet the mamas and the veterans and the families.
That
So
is very nice though.
thank you. We just got this older motorhome, so I can take it out myself because the fifth wheel was pretty challenging for me.
Hmm.
So So watch me, because it's actually going to be epic, because I think I'm leaving. We have another trip to go with the American Legion riders at their summit in Florida. We'll be in Orlando, and then we're coming back, and then I'm going to be taking a trip by myself for the first time in 3 years. So Randy had to show me how to do the septic and everything on this one, because I haven't done it yet. So when you see me out there, you'll see me. I drive it. He's not allowed to drive it. This is my rig. So I do all the driving, but I haven't been out by myself. So next month, I'm going to be out quite a bit by myself, and I'm going to be visiting families of veteran suicide, and I'm going to be visiting veterans at the American Legions as I travel throughout Florida. So that's going to be probably my next epic adventure, is going out by myself after 3 years of not doing it by myself.
Wow. And
So,
you're in that big thing. I hope everything goes smoothly for you, especially when you gotta, empty out the septic tank.
that's the worst.
Yeah.
Well, because I just practiced it at a campground, and my problem is I'm not very strong, so you have to do everything really, really tight. And I can get everything really tight, but then I can't get it off. So I have to go knock next door at the camper next door and ask the husband to come and help me loosen everything up, because I can't get it.
I'm sure, but I bet when you knock on that door, he's like, "Yeah, okay, I get it." Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, I'll come help." What? Do you have gloves?
Yes, I
that,
do. I'm
that
very
that's
sanitary.
no, that's well. I can definitely tell by your setup. It is very neat and organized. I
Yes,
would it's good for you, honestly, to have a safe mobile in a way, to have mothers and welcome mothers onto your RV, and just know, like, hey, because everyone, I don't care who you are, if you see an RV, you're always like, oh, like, I wonder what it looks like inside, right? It always sparks that interest. So for you to invite somebody on, and maybe it's their first time ever being on an RV, they come on, and it's a completely new environment. It's somewhere they've never been. It's somewhere where they can potentially have different feelings, right? And that first feeling of meeting Michele coming onto the RV, knowing that, hey, this person is going to help me, creates more of a safe space for that person in a way. So I honestly think the RV is great. And
thanks.
plus, you save a lot on flights. You don't got to fly nowhere.
Yeah. Oh, it's my home on wheels. So I mean, we have everything in here. We have the fridge, and the only thing is, laundry and stuff. But I make it very comfortable. So I have had hundreds and hundreds of veterans in my
Mm-hmm.
RV, and I create this safe space. So that's why I have this. I'm not going to say following, but I've helped so many, because I'll let them get in. And if Randy's with me, Randy will go do something, and it's the veteran and I. And now it's the moms and I and the families. And I
Mm-hmm.
light a candle and I play some soft music in the background. And there's been a lot of laughter, but an awful lot of tears. I have tissues here. And
Yeah.
would you like to see the RV quick?
Yeah. I'd be honored. Thank you.
I want to show you the. So my husband just painted the whole thing for me, but this is just the inside of it real quick. I've just
Oh,
made it.
wow. Definitely beachy vibe. I like it.
Yeah, because we live just a half an hour from the beaches in Florida. We live right on the border. Okay, watch me. Try not to fall out of the
Yeah,
RV.
you're good. Watch your step. Watch your step.
I'm used
Oh,
to it. We both
wow.
have we both have fallen out. Here, I'll bring you up front.
For
Sun's gonna
anyone
be in
who's
my eyes.
listening, not watching, just know Michelle's automobile is definitely an American flag, and there's a big M butterfly on the front of it.
And I can't see the sun's in my.
No, I can see clearly.
Okay.
Yeah, that is so cool. See, I'd be curious what the inside of that looks like. It's a huge
We invite
American
everybody
flag.
in. We when I'm getting gas, I have people wanting to see the inside. Here's the butterflies.
And every butterfly. Wow. And
So
it
every
has.
butterfly has a name.
And Michele, one more time. The names on every
Oh shoot,
butterfly
I think I
represent
lost you. Hold
what?
on. I lost my internet connection. Hold on. Oh shoot, I lost you. Are you there? Here's the rest of it.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
cutting out a little bit.
That's
That's all
because I left
good.
because my internet is in the RV.
Ah, I
But
gotcha.
on up here where the cluster is above the M,
Mm-hmm.
I have the mamas that lost their 3 children. There's 2 of them. Their other children's name is also on the RV. And then we have another mom whose son was killed in action. And then her younger son took his life. So I have both of their names on it as well, to show that they lost their child, but they're also losing their other siblings. So it's important for people to keep an eye on the families.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. Definitely. Are you back in the RV now?
I am.
Okay.
Kidding.
Yeah. I'm waiting for your video to kick back in, but the audio is still loud and clear.
Oh, shoot.
No,
Okay.
that's quite all right. It'll probably jump on. There we go. Perfect. See, a little
Okay.
onesie twosies never hurt nobody.
I forgot that every time I take someone out to see the RV, I lose it. Sorry about that.
No, that's totally fine. From what I got and from what the viewers seen, they'll definitely see enough and be able to put two and two together. We got a nice view of the side of it, the front, and then the
Okay.
other side as well, and all of the other beautiful butterflies on there as well. That's
Thank you.
actually that's really nice. Do you make Randy paint them all, or do you like?
No, so the wrap, most of the first 150 butterflies are actually in the wrap. I designed the whole thing myself. So I told them exactly how I wanted the butterflies. And now every time a new mom joins, I order a name because I have 28 other butterflies installed, and I just order their child's name. And so those are actually stickers that we have to add because the wrap is already complete. So
Okay.
unfortunately, I'm getting 4 to 5 new mothers joining my group every week.
Mm.
So my husband's task is I hand him, it's very painful to put these names up and know the stories. And I try to keep him away from like the actual stories that I know because it's devastating on him as well.
It's more attaching with the name in hand, I guess you could say, correct?
Yes, and knowing the mother and the story and seeing pictures. If you watch my TikTok videos, usually on Friday, you'll see there's children's pictures and they're holding their small children or they're meeting their wife at the airport coming home from deployment and now they're gone to suicide. So we know that and it's just devastating.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I really hope that all the effort we put in is making a huge difference. Little by little, every day will make a big difference. Rome wasn't built in a day, they say, right? So
It's,
hopefully,
but you guys out there doing what you're doing, I'm going to make sure I share your stuff. I'm friends, very good friends with Bobby Henline.
oh
And
wow, okay,
oh, Bobby, actually, I had Bobby's the reason I got a bigger RV. And Bobby's life-size photo was on 3 of my RVs. So
really,
I love Bobby to death. I love his wife, Jamie. The real veteran guy, Sean Laurie, he's a very good friend of mine. Amarok. These are all guys on TikTok. They're very good. I used to ride motorcycles with Amarok. I love him and his wife. So I know those guys I've interviewed Sean in my RVs, the real veteran guy,
yeah.
multiple times.
Wow, I would be honored if you can bring me into that circle. That'd be great. These would be
Oh,
these are people that I definitely have a list of questions in my notebook right now for.
I'll tell him to contact you. The real veteran guy is Sean Laurie. He just invited me to be a speaker at his event in October in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Oh, well, I hope that one of your events is close to like where I'm located right now. It would be great to come down and actually like meet you in person and actually, kind of
Where
like
are you
be
located?
uh I'm like in like the DC area.
Okay. Well, sometimes we travel through there because we're in Rochester every summer.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, I'm a Brooklyn native, and my
I hear
family
that.
lives in Yeah, my family lives in Staten Island. So that's why when you said Rochester, I was like, oh, we're neighbors. I was like,
Yeah.
we're right around the block from each other.
Ah.
Up, upstate in the city is completely different vibes, though. Do you try
Oh,
to
I know.
avoid driving through the city when you have to go?
I
Yeah,
never
I
been actually because I want to avoid it.
yeah, I don't think bringing a big camper like that through New York is the best idea.
We can't even get through a lot of the streets in Florida. We can't even. The trees are out, and in Georgia, the trees are all so low. Like on
Mm.
my own street, I can't even get under the live oak trees. I got to go around certain areas. So yeah, but this one's a lot smaller than my last one.
Okay. I'm sure this one's a lot prettier than your last one too.
It is.
Yeah,
It
nice.
is.
Michelle, where have you been in the world that are some of the most breathtaking places?
Mm. Sedona, I've been
Sedona,
to
okay.
Sedona. I've been to Twin Falls, Idaho. I've been to Aspen, Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado's beautiful.
I've driven through every mountain in in the country. I've been stuck in the desert. I have all kinds of stories, but I didn't realize when I was doing all my videos all those years on YouTube that I had it set as private. I only have like 430 follow subscribers or whatever on YouTube.
Oh
'Cause I just
no.
realized, yeah, so my whole history is on YouTube, and I just decided to start TikTok, and I'm already annoyed by it because there's all these trolls. But
Yeah, yeah.
I'm doing it to raise awareness and to honor the mamas and do anything I can to help.
Yeah, you have to get used to filtering out all of like the scammers and all of that other people, because there's
Yeah.
always someone that's like, oh, I will promote your podcast and give you like 1 million viewers for $1,000,
Oh,
and I'm
really? Yeah.
always like, yeah, okay, great. Now, see you later. Like everything I've built and made so far has been completely organic. Even kind of like how, like when we were first talking, you were like, well, like how does this work? What do we do? And I was just like, we're just gonna go with the flow. Just send me your email and I'll shoot you a link and we'll take it from there. I try to be like as minimalistic when we first meet, just to make the conversation more organic and make what I learn about you like a lot more organic. I did do my research though prior to me contacting you, because I was like, well, why would I want to have, or not, what would my community gain out of me having Michele on my platform? And I knew that, yes, the active duty and the veteran community is, in my eyes, top priority. But Michele's right. What about the families? What about the mothers? What about my mother, right? What about Lisa? That's my mother, So it's definitely good to have you come on and give some insight to the family members listening, even the people who are active duty and know of a family member or, a mother who is possibly going through something right now, can reach out to Michele and, kind of get in that safe space and know that there is a community of mothers like this. Like, you are never alone, right? There's a Facebook group for everything. There's a
Yeah.
YouTube video how to boil water. There's literally so many resources out there that I hope people can find this and use this knowledge as power.
I hope so. Even if even if the active duty hear my message to get help as soon as possible, don't hold it in, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can just understand what it would do. I've talked to so many veterans that have the most horrendous stories of what
Mm-hmm.
they had to see and do, and horrible, horrible, all the friends they lost. And I don't know how to tell them to ask for help, or I couldn't imagine living with some of what you guys living with. And but my own son, I've seen his struggles, and so if they could just hear that message, is to don't hold it in, and don't be worried about your commanders. There's the Brandon Act. Do you know about the Brandon Act? You probably don't even know about it.
No.
A young man that was serving active duty took his life, and his parents went to Congress, and there's a Brandon Act that all branches are supposed to have implemented, that if you need help, you can seek help without ostracization, however you say that, and that you should not be influenced in any way and to seek help. So please check out the Brandon Act, Google it,
Okay. No,
and
I definitely
share it,
will.
because there's ramifications if there's any bullying or anything for getting help.
Yeah, I have heard of that. I wasn't aware of like the name, the Brandon Act, because they always have people that'll come to like each command and they'll be like, this doesn't jeopardize your security clearance. Nobody's gonna know about it. The only people that's gonna know about it is you and your medical professional, whether it be your therapist or your psychiatrist. nobody knows anything that goes on unless, your person has to report it, right? But you can go seek help and your commander won't know about it, your chief won't know about it. The only people going to know about it are you and the people that you go to, obviously, right? Because you're talking to them. I didn't know it was called the Brandon Act. Okay, that's good. And
Yeah.
from experience, anybody listening, if you need help, man, go seek help. Go to medical. That's the first step. Because more than likely, if you're active duty, right? Not more than likely, but if you're active duty, you going to medical, you'll get that appointment a lot sooner. And if you are a veteran, contact your VA. In the meantime, when you're contacting your VA, like I said before, use those other resources, right? Not the military resources. Use those family resources and those friend resources in the meantime. Michele, a quick plug for you and your community and your socials. How would somebody be able to find Michele and follow Michelle's journey?
Well, I just started this crazy TikTok video forum. I'm on LinkedIn, Michele Ladd, Michele with one L. I'm on Facebook. I do all my own social media. So I have Facebook Mothers of Veteran Suicide. I have Instagram. Oh, RV Hero Gypsy is my Instagram and my YouTube. So if you want to see my travels starting from I think I didn't start doing any videos till 2 years in, but you can see me breaking down, getting injured, getting people trying to talk to me in Walmart parking lots. You can see the story, but to seek help if you're a mother of military or veteran suicide, my website is mothersofveteransuicide.org. And send me and Randy and I prayers, because it's a hard, challenging life out there. We do I'm actually in my driveway. I do own a home here.
I
I
was
do
curious. I wasn't gonna ask though.
I when I met Randy, I couldn't live in the RV anymore, but we have a house. We have a beautiful house, but we're here maybe 2 weeks at a time, and then we're gone again. So,
Okay.
but we're not traveling way far away like we used to. But anyway, any of my social media channels, you can send me an email through mothersofveteransuicide.org. My email is Michele at mothersofveteransuicide.org. And I also have an 888 number, and it's 888-452-5552.
I will gladly plug that down in every video description and podcast description for this episode.
Yeah.
Michele, what's next on the road, no pun intended, for the Mothers of Veteran Suicide?
So we are headed to a American Legion Riders Summit in Florida. Our mission is to just share. This post loves the Mothers of Veteran Suicide. On February 24th, the riders are doing a fundraiser for moms, and I'm having moms there, and they bring the little ones that they're raising.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see, just all kinds of travel. We've been contacted by several large traveling organizations that want us to meet up with them.
Mm-hmm.
They love the RV. They love the awareness of it. And I don't even have a complete schedule yet for the next few months, because we kind of wing it sometimes too.
Well, we have the socials plugged for Michele. She told the socials already, so if you didn't hear it or you didn't catch it, everything will be plugged. Please give her a follow, support her and her journey. Michele, do you have any questions for me before I let you go?
I want to get a picture of us.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Cool.
Awesome. Awesome. I
I'll
love it.
make a YouTube video out of that and tell everybody to follow
Hey,
you.
put it on public, okay? Wait,
I
did
will.
you know that you can change it to public still?
Yes.
Oh, you did? Okay. I was like, because you said your YouTube went back like 2 years ago. I was like, you could change all of those videos from
Oh,
private to public.
I just changed the whole channel to public, but I
Oh,
was
okay,
wondering,
okay.
I thought I would have like 500,000 followers after 7 years.
Yeah. And
And
then one day you were like,
like
oh
a month ago,
no.
I was like, I have any followers. I already
Yeah.
have almost 500 on TikTok in a month. And I looked, and it was private. All these years it's been on private. And so the only people that ever saw it is the links I was sharing.
Yeah,
Pretty funny.
that's true.
You can see, if you go back when I first started, you can see the progression of just age and grief and crisis and living this hard lifestyle when we're out, because we literally stay in parking lots. We're very rarely at a campground. So we run out of water. We can't flush our toilets. It's crazy.
I believe it. I believe it. It's a whole different world. But it also, I feel like being in the RV just makes life a little bit more easier rather than flying places, renting cars, getting a hotel. You don't need to do any of that. You have all that in one. Plus, being on the road maybe gives you time to, just give you like that therapy of just driving on an open road, thinking, all right, like this is where I'm going. This is what we're going to do. This is what could happen. This is what might happen. This is how I'm going to resolve the issue. So I think, honestly, driving the RV would help me personally. I'm not sure if it does it for you as well. But just driving the RV, be like, you know what? Clear space, clear mind, clear view, good road.
Well, it would be if you weren't with your spouse 24/7. And 2 dogs, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, 2 dogs. Okay. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
maybe it's, yeah.
I've gotten to the point he sits in the passenger seat. I'm like, look at your phone. I have a 6-hour drive and I listen to my earbuds. I listen to music and that's my therapy. Just let me drive and you just be quiet.
The dog or your husband?
My husband, he's just like, watch that hole, watch that squirrel, watch this. I'm like, listen, dude, I got this.
Yeah. I've been doing this for 7 years and I have YouTube videos to prove it. So I got this.
He met me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Michele, do you have any questions for me?
Just may I share you?
Yeah, no, of course.
My followers. Okay.
Please. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, Freedom Empire. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Michele, thank you so much for coming out here. I really hope together, we can just build our communities and Freedom Empire. Until next time.
God bless.
Views presented are those of the speaker, and the guest do not necessarily represent the views of the Department of Defense or its components. Neither the Department of Defense or its components bears any responsibility for the accuracy, legality, or content of the views discussed on this podcast.